All right, everyone, we are starting the recording. So we're starting the live FAQ about Lodestone People Consulting's Women in Leadership retreat that's coming up in October, which I know sounds far away, but I promise you it isn't the way busy women are. So this whole session was about meeting me. I'm Sandy Fiaschetti. I'm the founder of Lodestone, and I'll be one of the speakers at the event. Not the only one, because that would be boring, but this was really designed to be time for you to get to know me, to know about the retreat that we're doing, the sessions that we plan, where we're doing it. So I could sort of prattle on and give you a spiel about it, but I'm wondering, are there specific questions that you have? And I have some that people sent an email, but you guys are here live. So you tell me what you want to know first, what you want to know most, and let's just make this interactive the way the sessions are going to be. I know no one ever wants to go first. Oh, okay.
I'll go first.
We have a star pupil. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it just for women? So it's for women in leadership. Is it specifically for women in just human capital? Or is it any department in a company?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. We did one of these in April, and we were solely focused on HR and human capital, and sort of changing my feeling on that, like about being so specialized. So now we've taken that off. We're saying it's women leaders. If you're in middle market, most likely, right? Because really large companies probably, hopefully, have development programs of their own, but just, senior women in leadership who want to learn and grow from other people. Also, we had a kind of a decent amount of interest from small business owners who were like, well, I kind of wear an HR hat, but am I allowed to go to that April one? And, let's just unfetter this allow thing. If there's a woman in leadership in a middle market company, and she thinks, hey, I could benefit from learning about how to motivate a team and manage a team and get a seat at the table and do my personal brand and meet other cool women, then she should be there. Does that help? So a little bit broader than our April thoughts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that was going to be my question that you answered already about just women in business, right? I'm a business owner. What does that look like as far as what the structure will be while we're there and what we'll be learning and things like that? I think from what I've seen, I think it will be really beneficial for women in business because we do wear all those hats.
Mhm.
And I'm a B2B business, so I wear all those hats and I'm helping other people figure out how to wear those hats. So what does that look like as far as what will be offered and how we'll be engaging?
Yeah. Really, you're kind of asking what's the agenda. And so I'll say it's largely baked, right? You saw a PDF to come to this. You saw a PDF of what the agenda is that I can pop up here. But I'm also going to say, because we're talking about a small group, this is 5, 6, 7 people. The agenda can be bespoke. If you and Jennifer and 3 other people were the people there, you were going to get here's what we're planning on covering. Is there anything you guys want to modify or tweak about this? But maybe just to kind of be a little more specific about it, let me pop up the agenda. You guys can see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first, before you even come, we're a firm that's all about assessment. So we plan on doing short leadership assessments that we use for our clients in private equity and portfolio companies all the time. We would want you to do them. I don't want the word assessment to scare you, Andrea, or anyone else, really. It's do a quick personality thing online, this cool 1-hour business simulation that we have where you get to play an executive. I mean, you do that all day, right? But you play an executive in a specific setting. And so we can give you data on some leadership competencies. So it's not just this ethereal talk. It's, okay, Andrea, here's your personality. Here's how you stand on creating urgency and developing relationships as we saw it in the assessment. How does this line up with what you know about yourself? What of this do you want to put into your development plan? And so you'll have this hour-long call beforehand giving you the feedback and what that all means. So you're kind of bringing that into the session. Then day one, you have to get to at least the Denver airport on your own. The all-inclusive sort of covers from there on out. So we're getting a shuttle from the Denver airport. It is a couple-hour ride out to the ranch. It's out, you know, that's where you put ranches, like away from the city. So when people get in, depending on the timing of when people get in, there are all these activities that you can do. Check-in is at 3, but the activities are available as soon as you arrive. And then we're going to do the official welcome and retreat kickoff in the late afternoon toward the evening, because part of this, we really wanted it to be balanced. I don't know about you guys, but when I go to conferences, I feel like, oh, they put them in a beautiful city, but my agenda is jam-packed and I don't really have any time for me. And it's like, well, I was in Boston, but I might as well have been in, you know, Dubuque or something. It like, you just don't know. So we purposely balance the agenda of, you're going to start with just enjoying nature and beauty around you. Then we're going to do the retreat kickoff. It also helps because not everyone's arriving at the same time, right? But start with sort of the refresher part, then a refreshing part. Then we'll do the kickoff. We'll talk about, you know, sort of broadly, what's the importance of connection. People, you know, we'll get to know each other. Networking dinner with fabulous food, all part of the package. And then we're going to start talking about like you as an individual and your personal branding, but we're going to do that at the campfire. Like not everything is in a class. Actually, there are no classrooms here. There's one room that they have tables and chairs. If you were doing 50 people, that's not going to be us. This is going to be like 6, 7, 8 people sitting around cozy leather couches and a fireplace. And some occasional, right, stand-up training, because it's not just us talking for 3 days. So we're going to do specific modules on how to be an authentic leader, how to influence people, how do you build an effective team around you. And then the next day talking about things like getting a seat at the table and making sure we have takeaways. And you can see on this agenda, right, like all balance between learning for your job, learning for you personally, and then refresh and enjoy and activities and the networking. That was a long-winded answer, Andrea. Did it hit though? Okay, yeah. Did it hit like as a business owner, do you see like, okay, yeah, there are things I could do on here?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, cool. Let me take this down then so I can see your faces better. What other questions? What can I tell you guys about?
Will we know, you know, at some point along the journey, I mean, it's a small group, right? So will we know at some point along the journey leading up to then, or when we register, what other types of industries are going to be there that we'll be networking with? Yeah,
because I mean, in a way, thank you for this. Because it's so small, we want people to sign up right away, right? Because the seats are limited. So we're imagining long before October, we're going to know who those 5, 6, 7 folks are. And why not start the networking then? Yeah. You know, get the build that connection, kind of like when people go away to college and they know who's in their roommate in their quad even before they get there, so that you guys have a connection before we even get started in October.
Very cool.
And sometimes people are like, oh, I want to be around people in my own industry. And other times I say, you know how much learning there is when there's cross industry and we're not all HR people, or we're not all from, you know, manufacturing or whatever. It's like the beauty of the diversity of the conversation. And sometimes there's just, I find people feel a little bit freer, right? It's like, oh, you're not in my industry. You're not gonna, I hope none of you would be judging anyone anyway, but you're not judging me. Like I don't interact with you otherwise. And it becomes this, you know, just freer place to speak. And so that's part of what we're going for. Do you want to see any of the, would that be helpful to, I keep talking about this ranch. Do you want to see some of it? Okay, let me just quit. Let me put my screen back up. Okay. Of course, I'm starting on the food page.
I love it.
Because all the meals are included, and I'm just looking at this scrumptious thing and picturing, right? Like so much conversation can happen just around this table. We don't have to, this doesn't have to be lecture style, but here are some of the meals, the lodging. I'll be honest, I don't know exactly which cabins everyone will be in, but I mean, just take a quick look. I don't think you can go wrong on this. And then some of the activities, there's horseback riding, there's a spa, there's fishing. I'm not going to be doing that, but somebody might want to fish, but it isn't going to be me. But there's like yoga classes, there's, the campfire. It's just, and just honestly, just sitting there looking at the mountains and that watching the horses might be enough for me. So, yeah, so that is that. And then, this was just some activities, just a list of some of the activities, right? There's pickleball, which everyone's talking about now. There's horseshoes, kind of do whatever, and we can do some group things, again, partly driven by who's there and what your interest is. If 5 people are like afraid of horses, because I literally had one person say, you keep talking about the horses, that's not a selling feature, it's freaking me out. If we have 5 people afraid of horses, there's not going to be, forced horseback riding or anything crazy like that. What else? I feel like we're probably getting close to time, but I want to just make sure we hit everything, and I guess that I hit everything I wanted you to know, but
I do have one
Yeah.
question. I'm wondering if there are multiple senior leaders who fit the bill for this organization or for this event within one organization, would you recommend that they all come? Or should we try to keep it to one leader from an organization?
Yeah. Honestly, if I put my sales hat on, I would be like, yeah, everybody come, right? But honestly, I think there are pros and cons to that I would want to talk to that organization about. Like, given what I
Yeah.
said a couple minutes ago, in some organizations, I could imagine 4 or 5 women from the same place not feeling comfortable, not wanting to
Right.
open up around people who know them really well. So maybe they should be split into different sessions, because this is not a one and done thing. We're doing this a few times. But maybe it makes sense for that group if they have some shared work. Maybe that's its own session. Maybe it's a team effectiveness and that company wants to sponsor that. And I could see that happening. But, I think it could work. I would just want to know the circumstances and would want all to understand their culture and the specific women and their wants and needs. And I wouldn't want anyone to be with colleagues if somehow that was going to inhibit them.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, sure. Good question. I know it might mean, takes longer to fill those seats, but I'd rather fill them right,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What else? One thing I wanted to make sure, because you guys have a lot of options, right? Like you could go to any conference anywhere. You didn't ask this, but somebody emailed like, why would I go to this one instead of another one? So if you don't mind, I kind of want to hit on that. I think would be a couple of things. One, we think we built it to be balanced, and I have not seen things like that. I've seen like go into the mountains and do yoga and spend a week doing that, but you don't have any professional development. I've seen go jam an agenda full of sessions and learning. And then I've seen things that are about helping you on your job, but I hadn't seen how do you pull all of that together. So you can say to your company, it's not just about me, it's about how I'm going to make the business better. And then you can say to yourself, it's not always about pouring into the business. There's something in this for me and my professional development. And there's something in this for me just as a human being and a woman who's overworked and doing a million things, where I've got these breaks in my day that involve reconnecting with nature. So we feel like it's a balanced agenda. We also feel like it's a good deal, really. Like the early bird pricing on this is $59.50. Weird number, but and that's all the sessions, the pre-assessment, the lodging, the meals. It's really everything but your plane ticket. And we're intentional about this in that this is the first year we're doing these. We're doing these, this is not going to be like Sandy's retirement plan. This is really to pour into women and make it affordable so people can get development. And frankly, so we can build relationships and get to know people, right? So I think affordable, balanced agenda, that's what I wanted to make sure people knew.
I know you, so I know some of your background, but I was talking about this to a couple of other friends who are interested, and what is in that different space, right? You do this work differently than other people do, right? That scientific approach, the personality assessment is probably going to be different than what we're all used to hearing from leadership development coaches.
Yeah.
What can we expect from that difference, right? What will that look like as far as how we're getting training and development and assessment and all of that?
Thank you for asking that because, everyone gets their own myopic worldview. And in my head, it's like, oh, people who know Lodestone and our clients or our friends of the show, so to speak. So people who know that organizational psychology is a thing and it's our thing. But you're right, there could be strangers out there who don't even know that. So thank you. So we are a firm of industrial organizational psychologists. We're all about data science in the workplace. It's all about how do you make behavior at work better? So there are a lot of people, there are a lot of people who hang a shingle and like, I'm a coach, right? But the training, they're probably not PhDs in organizational behavior, in organizational psychology. So bringing that data and science to it. But what I hope even comes through on this call and that comes through for sure for our clients is while we're PhDs who bring science to it, we aren't ethereal academicians. Like you're going to get practical business tips and ways to behave differently. We're just, I grew up daughter of a auto worker. I'm not going to be pretentious in this session. It's going to be no nonsense. How do you do things better? And so it's that mix of we've got the science behind us, but we're not like overly nerdy scientists, if you will. There's that practical.
No offense to them.
Yeah. No offense to those scientists who probably weren't watching anyway, but maybe they were. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. Because I know I
Okay.
had a couple of people who couldn't join me today that were just curious, like, what is the background, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of goes along with the why this and not the 900 other things that we could be doing. But that answers that perfectly.
Cool,
That's
cool.
awesome.
You guys, I'm breaking one of my own rules. I hate when people don't respect time and that I like tight agendas. So I'm going to cut us off. I'm just going to say, if you want to know more, you know where to find me. But people who are watching this, a couple of opportunities. One, let me go to our website, somewhat shamelessly for a second, right? If this did it for you and you want to sign up for the retreat, on our homepage is the register now. Easy enough. Click that, work your way through. Like I said, that early bird pricing is good through, or maybe I didn't say it's good through June 20th. If you want to know more and you're not ready to click that button, this contact page, let's keep in touch. And you can put in here, hey, I want to know more about the leadership retreat. I'll call you individually. I don't care. Also, though, we are going to do a second session where, okay, I learned a little bit. I met some people. Maybe Sandy's not scary. I want to learn a little bit more. I want to hear this again. In 2 weeks, I think that's right. In 2 weeks on June 7th, but we're going to put it on our website. In 2 weeks on June 7th, we're going to do a half-hour one of these where people can get to network and connect and hear about the leadership retreat. So not like a 30-minute commercial, but kind of starting that, how do I build a network with women who have these same interests as me, even if I can't maybe go to the retreat. So I did want to make sure and say that before we hang up. So I feel like I've kept you all long enough. You can think about this, ruminate over this. You know how to reach me on the website, but you also know how to reach me now because you've got this meeting notice from me. So any individual questions, please reach out. We want to make this the best experience for everyone. And, whatever it does to make you feel comfortable with that, we want to do that for you. So you know how to find us. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.